All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday, the 19th of May. Hope everybody had a good weekend, good relaxation, some sunshine, a couple of dog walks, all those beautiful weekend things. All right. Good morning, Lorna. Good morning, Art. Good morning, Peter. All right. I think we're good here on the audio. All right, guys. So looking at the futures here, you got the NQ down about 1.5%. Got Bitcoin down 1.6, S&P futures down 1, gold up about 2, the RUT down 1.4, the YM down 0.5, and putting things in their proper perspective, it's always kind of funny to me. The market can rally like a bat out of hell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row. Nobody really bats an eye. We get one little dip, and it's panic, markets in turmoil. So putting the little dip here in its proper perspective, the NQ is up about 31% off the bottom. And they did that in about 5, 6, maybe 7 weeks. Up 30 off the bottom, and now we're down about 1.5% off the highs. With the monthly chart and a perfect score of 15. Great trend, great structure, great momentum. With a weekly chart, that leans bullish, 8 points at the 15, bull trend, neutral structure. And with a daily chart, looking pretty good, back above the 50, back above the 21 EMA, 200 SMA, 11 points at a 15 with a lot of green. So yeah, I don't think the dip here changes too much. Let me show you cash QQQ. Clean a couple of things up here. Let me go grab my drawing tool. I've been awake since about 1:30, so I'm moving a little slow. All right, drawing tool. So cash QQQ. They're going to gap her down to about 514, 515. In terms of where do I think things have changed? Meaning bulls are pretty much dropping the ball. Like 495-ish. Big flush, put in the bottom, squeeze out all the shorts. Momentum is better, structure is better, more buy signals. Yeah, if they go and flush it down to 490 and keep on dumping, that'll be a little bit too much of a give back. Meaning you kind of pump the brakes on the idea of buying that dip. Down to 515, down to 510, down to 505, 500. Don't get me wrong, it's a decent dip. In terms of trend, structure, momentum, I don't think too much changes here above that 495, 500. And that doesn't mean you wake up and you blindly buy the dip here at the open. I'll be looking for things like fresh 5-minute buy signal, 15-minute buy signal, or better yet, buy it on my next good-looking 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute squeeze. So there's a QQQ, and then the futures on the S&Ps. All right, up about, let's see. S&P futures up about 24% off the bottom, and now we're down about 1% and change off the highs. 11 points at a 15, good-looking trend, good structure. You've got a weekly chart back above the 50, back above your 21 EMA, and you've got a monthly chart that I think until things changed, not today, not this week, just bigger picture. A monthly chart, I think they want to take back into all-time highs. Subject to change, of course, but really good pattern here of big monthly squeeze. They get the white arrow, big breakout, big push. The pullback feels really bearish. Nothing bearish about that monthly chart. Perfect 15, all the pretty colors in all the right places. But then looking from the ground up, it's a little bit neutral. No 5-minute buy or sell, no 15, no 30. So yeah, I'm thinking at the moment leaning towards trying to find a spot to buy the dip. And again, looking at it, not much of a dip to begin with. But yeah, 495, 500 QQQ, and then call it 5750 on the SPX. I think any dip above those levels that holds good structure, good support, keeps a couple of buy signals going, could make for a good buying opportunity. All right, and then the Bitcoin futures, they've kind of been here, there, and everywhere overnight. But what I did want to show you guys was they officially fired that weekly squeeze. Doing it on a down candle, which is a little funky, but they're firing the bad boy nonetheless. So the last time they had that big weekly squeeze break long, it was an A plus setup. Meaning on the big three, you had really good trend, structure, and you had momentum. This one's it's a little bit different this time around. Right, push off of the 21 EMA back towards the highs. You've got good trend, you've got good structure, you've got a big squeeze. They haven't gotten that momentum shift just yet, which would be taking those MACD bars, getting them back above zero. That was a really, really big part of that push from October, November into December. Energy built up in the squeeze, in an uptrend, 21 above the 50, stacked EMAs, all the structure. Then they went and got a fresh tank of gas. In most cases, makes for a breakout and enjoyable push. So I think in here in the short term is if they cannot get that shift, if they can't take that momentum label from red to green, they might not be gearing up for a breakout just yet. So it could be a thing where you push back to the highs, little poke above, or open a few bulls, maybe one more good kickback. Then they turn momentum, then they go for the glory. And then what else here on the futures? Decent amount of squeezes. Whoops. Well, I just deleted my futures watch list, but take my word for it. Decent amount of squeezes. But all right, guys, beyond that, let's go take a look here at the spreadsheet. And now the key today, tomorrow, this week, being that we got a little gap coming, a gap down coming, the scores will change a little bit. If the Bulls are really in control, they shouldn't change too much. Meaning, come Friday's close, the indexes should not be back to a negative score. And right now they've got 70% of their best possible score. Big Ten's got 61, Sector's got 52. Collectively, we're at about 57% of the maximum strengthage. QQQ 93 points out of 120. S&P's got 91, Dow Jones 81, IWM with 61. Here's Netflix, perfect score of 120. We caught ourselves a nice 30-minute squeeze back on Netflix last week. Microsoft's got 100 points, 91 for Tesla. There's NVIDIA, Broadcom. Apple may be a little neutral, but no huge issues. You've got utilities, industrials, financials, Bitcoin, communications, XLP, big tech. Good handful of good-looking sectors. Healthcare kind of crappy, biotech kind of crappy. Silver's neutral, gold and energy are neutral. If you're looking for a short, you're looking at UNH, TMO, Merck, basically just healthcare. And then the strongest names would be Zscaler, Verizon, Travelers, Netflix, Monster Beverage. We bought a little Monster Beverage on Thursday and sold it on Friday. And then GE, John Deere, Fast, Copart, XLU, TJ and the Max. A little Raytheon, Booking.com, Ma, and IBM. So S&P's gap down a little bit. QQQ gaps down a little bit. Let the market come in. See if it can find support. Wait for a 5-minute buy signal, 15-minute, 30-minute. Look to buy the indexes. Also look at a few of these guys. One I do like here would be Zscaler on a dip. And getting a good enough dip to buy it might be the tough part. But they just fired a nice weekly squeeze. I wouldn't call it a great entry. Um, Kind of idea to catch it on the dip. But I like that one. Let's go check up on, of course, TJ Maxx still looks really good. The daily squeeze fired, and you got that weekly squeeze still coiled up. White Arrow, score of 15. Like I mentioned, we bought and sold some Monster Beverage. Still looks really good, though. In a good market, you call for a push into 64 and change. But we bought her back on Thursday with a few different things lining up here. The white arrow on the hourly squeeze, white arrow on the 4-hour, and the white arrow on the daily. Took a little cool 40% out of that one. But I still like it. You have MasterCard. Maybe look for a 30-minute, 15-minute squeeze, and then I do like FAST. We'll find out how fast it is. But yeah, pretty good looking. White arrow on the daily squeeze, white arrow on the weekly squeeze. They get through 85. I think you're looking for a path into the 90s. So a couple things there for you, and then off of the Big Ten watch list, all of the crowd favorites. Nvidia gapping down to about 132. The carnage, all the carnage. Earnings are next week. Earnings does make it a little trickier. But I like it for a dip buy anywhere above the daily 200. I like it at 130. I like it at 127. I like it at 126. I don't like it too much for a short-term long back below that 125-ish. So we'll keep an eye on that one, and then let's go check some Tesla. They got her into that 350 last week. Gapping down to 335-ish. Which I don't think will make that 1-hour squeeze fire short. But if you want to buy that 1-hour squeeze, you want it back above the 21. Interestingly enough, they did pop the call wall from 350 in the 400. And as you saw last week, these call walls can be pretty magnetic. So 350 was your call wall last week. Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday opens up on Monday around 320. They clear out a $30 path into that call wall. So now that's up here at 400. Maybe a 1-hour squeeze here. What I think would be pretty bullish would be let it gap down. They should gap it beneath the hourly 21. If they can gap it down and quickly pop it back above, so gap it down, pop it, hold it. Then from there, the next 5-minute, 15-minute buy could be a nice spot to buy the hourly. We'll see what she's got. And then what else we got here? So we have the June 490 500 call debit spreads in MSTR. And if I get a chance, I'm looking to buy a little bit more around 380. 380 would be the magic level. But I like the pattern here of you rip off the bottom, structure shift, momentum shift, brand new buy signals. If they can come down and smooch that 21 EMA, there's your first decent back test. Pump it, pump it, pump it, pull back, hold your 21. 5-minute buy signal comes through, 15-minute, 30-minute. Then I want to add to my long. And the play here is trying to give the trade enough time. So we'll see if June expiration is enough time. But trying to give that weekly squeeze enough time to play out a path into 490, 500. Basically looking for a repeat of the move you had from back here. Chop it, weekly squeeze prints. You got the white arrow and the glory. The glory of the breakout. So we got that one. And then, yeah, I think just kind of keeping that watch list small at the end. beginning of the week here, and mainly keeping an index focus. If I'm going to get a great buy in Nvidia, Google, Broadcom, Tesla, Apple, it's most likely because I'm getting a good buy in the S&Ps or QQQ. If this is a week of QQQ back to 515, then 500, then 495, in theory they can pop in Apple, Nvidia, Google, but they don't make it the easiest. So bigger picture, I think the Bulls are in control until things change. Right, that's based on, not my opinion, based on the spreadsheet, the pretty colors, the structure, all those kinds of things. And until that changes, my thinking is let them gap it down, let them flush it. Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be end of week, could be next week. If they can hold their ground, the dip at some point should make for a good buy. And then the goal will be, all right, well, I'm not going to go and try to buy everything. I want to avoid anything in healthcare. I want to avoid biotech. I would want to most likely avoid some energy, some silver. I want to look at a Netflix Perfect 120. I want to look at a Microsoft, a Tesla, Nvidia, Broadcom, Zscaler, Travelers, all the above. The cream of the crop. And if we do keep on pulling back and the market dies, I don't think I'm going to try to be the first guy to short a Netflix, Microsoft, Tesla, Nvidia. I might go short a healthcare name, a biotech. I might go pick on some Pepsi, Pfizer, J&J, wherever the spreadsheet says to go. But all right, y'all. Any chart requests, any questions for me? Get them in the chat. I'll take a quick look here, and then I'll take the folks in the main room and my room through the open. Yeah, I lost my futures here. All right, NQ. Any squeeze. All right, 15-minute on the NQ. Try to get in the habit before the open or at the open. Could be the cash index. This could be the futures. Try to find a 30-minute, 15-minute, or a 5-minute squeeze. S&Ps, QQQ, NQES, Dow Jones, IWM. Could even be a 2-minute or a 1-minute squeeze. What I like about that is at the open, trying to get a sense of direction. Do they gap it up and pump it? Do they gap it down and dump it? Do we open up flat and rip? Do we open up flat and roll over? If you can find that lower time frame squeeze and anchor to it, can make for a really good early morning, call it a compass. The goal being, of course, find a squeeze and apply some good criteria to it. 15-minute NQ is kind of a dud. -4, neutral trend, neutral structure, bull momentum. You want the one with the white arrow. White arrow pointing lower, short near your 21 EMA. A white arrow pointing higher, buy it near your 21 EMA. So a little 15-minute there, and then S&P futures. They have a lot of nothing. They got a 4-hour. And then Bitcoin with a 4-hour and a 30. A dirty 30. Hey, Robert, good morning. How are you? So yeah, give me one more day. And I do apologize. I was supposed to have this done last week. But I'm doing a couple of videos on call it a cheat sheet. For all the indicators. What's a big three score? What's a good one? What's a bad one? What's it based on? The trend, momentum. Over here on the squeeze watch list, what is a blue B3? What's a green A plus? What's a red A plus? And then a little bit more behind the scoring system. But to give you a quick rundown, the scoring system comes from my checklists. So I'm not looking for just a squeeze. I'm looking for a squeeze with about 15 different data points. Some of them are trend criteria, some are structure, some are momentum. So if we take, for example, the MicroStrategy weekly chart, All right, so on that given time frame, we have a big three score of 15 points. That's the best, the strongest possible score. That means all of the trend, structure, momentum criteria, the Bulls are checking every box. So all the trend things lean bullish, all the structure things lean bullish. 15 points is the best for one time frame. Um, if you're looking for a bearish idea, negative 15 would be the best. And then what I'm doing here on the spreadsheet is taking 8 different time frames: the weekly, the 3-day, the 2-day, all the way down to the 30-minute. Few were a little bit more bigger picture, few were a little bit more shorter term. I take the scores to each of those time frames, and I get that total score. So on Friday's close, something like a Netflix with a 15 on the weekly, a 15 on the 3-day, a 15 on every time frame, that gets the strongest score of 120. So on the bigger time frames, on the middle time frames, on the lower time frames, trend, structure, momentum, it all leans as bullish as possible. So buying a 5-minute, a 15-minute, a weekly, or a daily squeeze in that kind of name is going to be a lot easier than doing that on a name like a healthcare with a negative 62, energy, a positive 17. Then my goal is, all right, am I in a bull market, bear market, or a neutral market? Taking all the scores, tallying them up. And then, all right, if I'm looking for a long, where should I look for a long? I don't want to go buy just any 30-minute squeeze. I want to buy the cleanest 30-minute squeeze possible in the strongest name possible. That was our trade in Netflix last week. All right, Netflix is numero uno. All right, we come jumping in on the 30-minute squeeze. Where'd it go? Oh, you know what? Oh, I spelled Netflix wrong. That might help. All right, so all throughout last week, you check the spreadsheet, and there's this big old Netflix. Better scores than the indexes, better scores than most of the Big Ten, and then better scores in a lot of the sectors. So good example of recent or current rather relative strength. All right, now I'm taking that relative strength name, and then I look for a squeeze or wait for a squeeze like that. White arrow means a squeeze and the perfect score of 15. So now tie it all together on that one given time frame. We have the strongest score possible and a squeeze setting up. Meaning Netflix on the 30-minute time frame is building up the energy in the context of good trend, good structure, good momentum. The spreadsheet says, hey, take a bigger picture look at it. The 5-minute chart looks great. The 15-minute chart looks great. The daily and the weekly chart look great. Top to bottom, this thing's really, really bullish. Combine that with that moment in time, I think a great high probability repeatable trade. Same thinking for the Monster beverage. All right, MNST ranks out, in that top 20, and then on Thursday, white arrow on the hourly squeeze, white arrow on the 4-hour, the daily, the weekly. They give you all that and a good entry. You kind of got to take the pitch in the right market, of course. But yeah, my bad for the delay on the videos. I should have those done. I got to go to a funeral tonight, unfortunately, but I should have them done, if not tonight, early tomorrow. And then what I'll do is I'll put them out in the main room and also here in this room as an alert. Yeah, Mitch, JC's got that magic touch. I forgot exactly what he did, but yeah, should be a good open there for his shorts. So maybe JC can cover his shorts, and then we can rally rally into the sunset. But all right, my good friends, I got to go jump into the main room here, take the troops of the open. But as always, I appreciate your time. Hope y'all find it helpful. Wish you all the best of luck this week. And I'm back with you on Wednesday morning, same time, same channel. So go get them, be disciplined, and adios.